Ms. Narain, the corporate fervor that has come in the green energy sector, along with a lot of policy favors, has happened during the last decade or 10, 12, 15 years. What has been the impact on the country's economy? Has there been a realization across the economic planning that choosing a greener option makes the economy richer, and it is not just some side investment that the companies or the policymakers have to think about?
So I'm not the right person to answer this. I think industry would be the right person, to answer whether they have incorporated it. As an outsider and somebody who's looking in and examining what's happening, I definitely think that Indian industry is getting far more aware about the needs to transform, to take on actions which are good for them, but also good for the environment. I think the scaling up will need to happen, particularly in the hard-to-abate sectors like steel, like cement. We have just done a report on both iron and steel as well as cement sector. And whereas green hydrogen definitely will play some role, there's a lot that industry can do right now to be able to reduce its carbon intensity, whether it's the use of recycled steel, whether it is the more use of slag and fly ash in the case of cement. You can really see changes that can happen today. So I don't think we need to wait much longer. And this is good economic sense, energy sense also for industry. I think where I am not seeing and where we need to make sure that we have a better environment is really, as you very correctly said, the question of finance. And if you look at the international finance, the cost of capital is still so high to be able to make the transition that we need. In India as well as Africa, I mean, India still is 10%, 12%, Africa is 20%, okay? You cannot make renewable energy projects viable. You cannot make the transition that you need at the scale that you need. So low concessional finance is going to be critical if you want to make the leapfrog, and especially at the scale. But the other part of it is really private finance. And I think that's where the story is very, very bad. I don't see private finance coming in for the transformation that is needed. It's very cautious, it's very risk averse, and you don't see it happening at the scale that is needed. And worst, we see scam after scam happening in the name of private finance. So carbon trading or voluntary carbon trading, which has been a big thing that industry has touted as its big achievement to be able to offset its emissions so that you can do business as usual, you can fly as much, you can do whatever you need to do as long as you've offset your emissions. Our own analysis has shown that how much of a scam that is. You're over-crediting, you're not sharing benefits with local communities, you're really not, in that sense, not even walking the talk, you're not even crawling the talk, forget running the talk, okay? So I think both in terms of private finance is going to be a big story, and the other big challenge in India is going to be really the question about medium and small scale industry and how do they then make their emission intensity lower, which will be good for them as well as the local environment.